Ladies and gentlemen, the first information and trailers about EAFC 24 have dropped. It's a new name, but is it the same game? Well, it's time to find out. Probably not. It's gonna be. This is every single thing you need to know about FC 24.
He hates sports. Bro.
Alright, first thing. So we've had a gameplay deep dive today. We've seen some trailers for that. The usual dramatic EA trailers, if you like. Wavy camera angles, a ton of cutscenes or whatever. Well, a few words you're gonna hear a lot from EA, alright? Hypermotion, which means many motion, and trilogy, because there's three things within the gameplay that come together that EA are proud of with FC 24, and the first one is Hypermotion V. To cut a long story short, EA have basically put cameras around lots of big stadiums across Europe and the world, and are able to track motion that happens in real life and implement it into I knew I was going to do that. Implement it into FC 24 almost immediately. The example they give is Erling Haaland's like flying acrobatic kick against Dortmund in the Champions League. If that was to happen this season, they'd be able to put it into the game within like 3 days. Now this basically means there's like over 1,000 running styles, loads of animations for shooting, saves, tackles. Now, opinions on this is really cool, I'm not gonna lie. It depends what you really focus on when it comes to playing video games. Because for me, like, graphics can look sick and look amazing, but if I take 10 shots in a game and the goalkeeper dives the exact same like animation 5 or 6 times out of those 10, it's gonna get boring and like stale really quickly. So from what I can tell, that won't be as much of a thing. Unless you got Erling Haaland and you keep trying to do like acrobatics with it. Play styles, that's the next thing in this trilogy of gameplay features. EA have partnered with Opta, who are like a stats-based team that tracks statistics in football, to come up with play styles and different like traits, if you like, for players based on what they do in real life. And I use the word traits because to me this is just an over-glorified version of traits, which we already had anyway. There's 34 in total, but they include like finesse shot, trickster, and like a rapid and things like that, which determine how you run or how a player behaves. It's almost like a personality like that then affects characteristics on the pitch. And there's play styles plus, which basically is the original play style but amplified even more. And the final thing is that graphically it looks like even better than it usually does. So you've got shirts that move in a way more realistic way, like hair. You'll have players grabbing each other's hair and stuff like that. Jack Grealish, watch out if Stefan Savic is around. Now, if you're an Ultimate Team fan, this section is for you. First of all, forget about it being called FUT. That's not a thing anymore. It's just UT. They've obviously FIFA Ultimate. It's not that anymore. So you'll be doing UT champs instead. That sounds crazy. I don't know if I like that. Couple proper big things here with Ultimate Team. First of all, you're gonna have women's players in the game mode as well. Now, women's teams and players have been in FIFA in ranging amounts for quite a while now. They're never featured in Ultimate Team. That's gonna change. If you want to cop Sam Kerr and use her in your Ultimate Team, then you can. And obviously, you can have mixed gender squads. Seeing some people complaining about this as if it's a problem, even though you're using George Best, who ain't even around on these streets anymore, slapping goals in down the right-hand side with him. But Lucy Bronze is where you draw the line. All right, lads, I'll remember that. Lucy Bronze is gonna be gold, though, so it's Lucy Gold. There'll also be women's icons cards as well. I think Rachel Yankee is going to be one, but basically pioneers of the women's game. They'll also have icons cards too. You got player evolution cards as well. Okay, so this is basically kind of like, imagine career mode, yeah? You've got a young player who's about, I don't know, 68 overall, but you like him. You want to give him some game time. Eventually, the more he plays, the better he plays. He's gonna gain overall. That is basically getting added to Ultimate Team. So if you've got a player that you quite like, the example that they use is Moukoko from Borussia Dortmund, and you just decide, you know what, I don't want to limit this guy to only being a silver card. I want to be able to use him in my best teams. You can basically complete objectives that will improve certain ability and certain stats on Moukoko's card, and you can take him all the way up to like 85 overall by completing these objectives. I'm not sure what like the peak or the limit of this is, but they took Moukoko from silver to gold. You can also like customize the cards so people know they're homegrown with like custom backgrounds and stuff. This could go pear-shaped though. Probably not best to let West Ham fans get a copy of a homegrown Declan Rice from Arsenal. Let's get on to some important stuff though, like when the game comes out. It's gonna drop on the 29th of September. That's the release date. If you get early access by pre-ordering the Champions Edition, you can get to play the game early by a week on the 22nd. There's, as usual, quite a few more celebrations that have been added to the game. A number hasn't really been like touched upon yet, but you can see them in the trailer, like Erling Haaland's, for example. If you're a League's man or a League's woman, you're gonna love this one. The La Liga has got an overhaul to match like the graphics overhaul that it's actually got in real life. The EA have signed like exclusive like rights and naming packages with La Liga, so you're not gonna see any teams in Spain losing their actual names like in Italy. And on the topic of leagues, the Premier League is getting a new scoreboard. I'm guessing it is in real life as well. And I mentioned women's football earlier on. There's been some new leagues and of course therefore players and clubs that have been added, being the Women's Bundesliga and Liga F, which is, well, Liga Femenina in Spain. The second division in South Korea has also been added. I don't know if that's been requested that much, but it's in the game now. There are a couple of shots in some of the trailers that would indicate that flares might be in the game as well. Obviously, it'd be great to see flares. It'd be great for the atmosphere in game, especially at places like Borussia Dortmund or in Eastern Europe. And it'll be interesting if that is the case, because obviously, like, flares, they're not, like, frowned upon, but you're technically, like, not allowed to take them to places. So, like, FIFA would not, like, FIFA as an organization wouldn't have wanted that in a FIFA game originally. But because those two things aren't intrinsically linked anymore, EA aren't making a FIFA game, I think you'll start to see a few more things creep in that, like, FIFA as an organization wouldn't usually accept. So don't be surprised if in, like, 2 games from now you can dive and stuff like that. And one thing that I'm not entirely sure is, like, definitely in the game, it was in the trailer, but it's being reported as true, is that you can play as a POV of an actual footballer. Now, it's done with Erling Haaland versus Eric Dyer in the trailer, and I have seen some Twitter accounts talking about it, but it's not something that EA have actually confirmed. If that's the case, it'll be a proper novelty. It'll be like old school Wii settings, or what we thought the Nintendo Wii version of FIFA was gonna be. But that would be wavy if you could actually play through the footballer's eyes. There's not a crazy amount of pro clubs information yet, but it is gonna be crossplay, which is sick for that community because they have been asking for it for ages. We have been asking. I mean, I love pro clubs. I think it's my favorite game mode on FIFA. Done it again. And now let's talk about career mode, kind of my specialty. Yeah, now I spoke about like POV, watching through POV a second ago. You can also do that with managers. So there's a new spectate mode that's coming to manager mode, and you can basically watch the game through the manager's eyes down on the touchline. Now I'm guessing this will like replace visual sim or something where you could just jump into the game if you wanted to, because otherwise it is like definitely a novelty that will probably get old after like a month. The more interesting things I've seen from a career mode perspective so far are the smaller details. Now, obviously, before I say anything here, I do really hope they add more than just what I'm about to talk about. So the first like headline thing that EA I think have actually talked about as well is player agents being in player career mode. Now, I don't exactly know how they are gonna work in game, but I'm guessing they'll be able to assist you through your career, or maybe have conversations with them and cutscenes and stuff. And I'm guessing they'll be a bit more prominent in manager mode as well. You'll actually have to negotiate maybe a little bit more with them. There was loads of different cutscenes in the original like FC24 trailer that I feel like they wouldn't just make purely to put into the trailer. You know when this year they added like cutscenes of fans like walking through turnstiles? That was in the trailer. So the cutscenes that we've seen in this trailer, I can only imagine are going to be in the game as well. Like Alexis McAllister holding up his shirt in a press conference. Maybe we're going to get new signing press conferences in career mode. Team talks as well were very prominent. You know, you got Zinedine Zidane giving one as a player. I do think that team talks might actually, like, you might visually see them, and they might have an impact on how your team plays, for example, in manager career. Even interactions in the tunnel as well, which would be cool. I don't know whether we're going to get that maybe in just player career, but what I am going to say is Jude Bellingham walking past Liverpool players in a Real Madrid shirt really hurt EA, and I'm actually not sure if I'm ever going to forgive you for that one. Another few small features in terms of manager mode. We've got new cutscenes and ceremonies for the Ballon d'Or, and other things called dynamic moments, and they include like open top bus tours if you win a trophy. And you've also apparently got backroom staff. Again, this isn't confirmed by EA, but I've seen it in like maybe some patch notes / on Twitter. So that should be something that's coming to the game. Again, that is something we've needed in manager mode for a while. And then finally, again, something that might be like affected by that is pre-match reports that you get on your opponent before a game starts. But I reckon that is about everything in terms of new features and stuff that you need to know for FC24. What are you most excited about? What new feature are you most looking forward to trying out? Is FC24 going to be another rehash of FIFA, or are we going to get a brand new game that we genuinely all enjoy? That's going to wrap up today's video though. Slap a like on it if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.